There is a specific kind of silence that happens at 3:15 in the morning. For many people over the age of 50, this silence has become an unwanted companion. You might know every creak of the house settling or the exact pattern of light that the street lamp casts on the ceiling. It is a frustrating paradox. You can feel exhausted during the day, perhaps fighting to keep your eyelids open during the late afternoon. Yet, the moment you transition to the bedroom, that heaviness evaporates. You lie there, waiting for a wave of relaxation that simply doesn't crash. Or perhaps you fall asleep easily, only to wake up 4 hours later feeling as though a switch has been flipped, your mind instantly active and alert. When this happens repeatedly, it is easy to internalize it as a personal failure. You might worry that your health is declining or that stress is getting the better of you. You might look back at your 30s, remembering how you could sleep on a noisy plane or nap on a couch and wake up refreshed, and wonder where that ability went. But this change in your sleep pattern is rarely a sign that you have forgotten how to rest. It is not necessarily a symptom of a broken system. Instead, it is often the result of a subtle physiological shift that happens quietly as the body matures. It is a shift in how your body tracks time and, more importantly, how it accumulates the hunger for sleep. Understanding this mechanism can change everything. When you stop fighting the wakefulness and start understanding the biology behind it, the anxiety surrounding the night begins to fade. And once the anxiety fades, the door to rest often opens a little wider. To understand why sleep feels so fragile now, we have to look beyond the simple idea of being tired. We need to distinguish between two very different systems that control your sleep. Think of your sleep cycle as being controlled by two separate forces. The first force is one you likely know, the body clock. This is the 24-hour cycle that tells you to be awake when it is light out and asleep when it is dark. As discussed in previous videos, this clock can shift earlier as we age. But there is a second, equally important force that often gets overlooked. Scientists call this the Homeostatic Sleep Drive. A simpler way to think of it is sleep pressure. Imagine that from the moment you wake up in the morning, you have an hourglass on your back. But instead of sand running out, this hourglass is filling up. Every hour that you are awake, every physical movement you make, and every problem you solve adds a grain of sand to the hourglass. This sand represents a chemical called adenosine. Throughout the day, adenosine builds up in your brain. It is the chemical signal for tiredness. By the time 10 p.m. arrives, the hourglass should be full. That high pressure of adenosine connects with receptors in the brain and effectively shuts down the lights. It creates that irresistible, heavy feeling that pulls you into deep slumber. Here's the subtle shift that happens after 50. The hourglass fills more slowly. As we age, our cellular metabolism changes. We may be slightly less physically active than we were 20 years ago, or simply more efficient in how we use energy. Consequently, the buildup of adenosine, that essential sleep pressure, is not as robust as it used to be. Simultaneously, the receptors in the brain that listen for this chemical signal can become less sensitive. So you arrive at bedtime, and while your body clock says it is night, your sleep pressure says, we are only half full. You don't have enough chemical weight to push you into deep sleep and keep you there. This is why you might doze off, light sleep, but pop awake at the slightest noise. The pressure wasn't high enough to anchor you in the deep restorative stages. This explains the phenomenon of the nap trap. If you feel drowsy at 2 p.m. and take a 30-minute nap, you are essentially emptying a portion of your hourglass. You release that built-up pressure. In your 30s, you generated enough adenosine to refill the glass by bedtime, but in your 60s, because that accumulation happens slower, you might not be able to refill it in time for the night. You reach bedtime with a half-empty tank, and the result is a fragmented, restless night. It also explains why you can feel mentally exhausted but physically awake. Your mind has done work, but if the body hasn't generated enough of that chemical pressure, the biological bridge to sleep remains incomplete. This is not a defect, it is a recalibration. The body is simply operating on a different economy of energy. Once you realize that your sleep appetite is smaller or slower to build, you can stop trying to force yourself to eat a full banquet of sleep when your body is only hungry for a snack. The goal then is not to sedate yourself, but to help your body build that pressure more effectively and protect the pressure you have accumulated. We want to ensure that when your head hits the pillow, the hourglass is as full as possible. Here are 3 focused adjustments to help align your sleep drive with your bedtime. 1. The caffeine cutoff. You likely know caffeine keeps you awake, but the mechanism is what matters here. Caffeine does not actually give you energy, it simply blocks the receptors that taste adenosine. It puts a piece of tape over the sensor so your brain cannot tell how full the hourglass is. As we age, our liver clears caffeine more slowly. A cup of coffee at 2 p.m. might still be blocking 50% of your sleep receptors at 10 p.m. The boring but vital adjustment is to move your caffeine window earlier. Try finishing your last cup by 11 a.m. This gives your body the maximum amount of time to clear the blockade so your brain can accurately read your tiredness levels at night. 2. The 20-minute rule, stimulus control. If you wake up and cannot fall back asleep within roughly 20 minutes, or if you feel yourself getting frustrated, the best thing to do is physically leave the bed. Lying in bed awake, calculating how much sleep you are losing, trains the brain to associate the mattress with anxiety and wakefulness. By getting up and moving to a dim, quiet corner to read or sit, you break that association. You are waiting for the wave of adenosine to rise again. Only return to bed when you feel the physical cue of heaviness in your eyelids. This protects the sanctity of the bed as a place for sleep, not for worry. 3. Spending. Your energy. To fill the hourglass, you must spend energy. However, high-intensity exercise late in the day can spike cortisol, which counteracts sleep. The sweet spot is consistent, low-impact movement earlier in the day. Walking, swimming, or gardening in the morning or early afternoon helps accelerate the buildup of sleep pressure. You are essentially earning your deep sleep. If you have a sedentary day, it is chemically normal to have a lighter night of sleep. Accepting this connection can reduce the frustration when it occurs. Natural support for the transition. Even with these adjustments, there is often a gap between where your body is and where you want it to be. The transition into a lower energy state can sometimes feel bumpy for the nervous system. This is where natural support can play a role. There are specific nutrients and compounds found in nature that are known to support the body's relaxation pathways. These are not about knocking you out artificially, but rather about supplying the raw materials the body uses to calm down. Some individuals find that introducing a specific, natural regimen helps to smooth out the edges of the evening. It can act as a signal to the body that it is safe to lower its guard. If you are interested in exploring what this type of natural support looks like and how it might fit into a mature lifestyle, there is a link in the description below. It offers a deeper look at options that respect the body's natural rhythms rather than overriding them. Sleep after 50 is different, but different does not have to mean desperate. The nights may not be the solid blocks of unconsciousness they were in your youth, and that is okay. The waking periods are not enemies. They are simply moments where the pressure has momentarily lifted. By understanding the mechanics of sleep pressure, that slow-filling hourglass, you can navigate your days with more intention. You can choose to protect your sleep appetite by avoiding late naps. You can choose to move your body to earn your rest. And you can choose to be patient with your caffeine intake. There is a quiet dignity in accepting how your body functions now, rather than fighting for how it functioned decades ago. When you align your behaviors with your current biology, the struggle begins to dissipate. The bed becomes a sanctuary again, rather than a battleground. You are learning a new language with your body. It takes time, and some nights will be better than others. But you are not alone in this learning process. Millions of others are finding their way back to rest through these same gentle adjustments. Of course, how we sleep is not just about what we do, it is also about what we eat. There are surprising connections between the foods we consume during the day and the quality of our rest at night, specifically regarding hidden energy drainers that might be sabotaging your sleep pressure without you even realizing it. In the next video, we will explore the nutritional side of fatigue and how to fuel your body for steady energy during the day and better rest at night. You can click that video to continue this journey toward better health.